My coffee is in a wine glass because I feel very special today. We are actually going to talk about your reluctance to eating healthier and to making healthier choices today. I've been watching your posts and I've seen one too many of you guys out there talking about how difficult it is because you can't do everything that you want to do and you're just going to buy a bigger size. And just before you start thinking, oh, she's talking directly to me and she's calling me out in front of everybody. Oh, you have no idea how many of you have done this recently. You have no idea. Hence why I am including this, because these lives are all about helping you improve your health, specifically improve your gut health so that the rest of your world is much easier, much healthier. You get rid of all your aches and pains. Well, majority of them, as many as we can get rid of at least. And effectively, we help you feel better, healthier, more energized, and stop dealing with so much crap. So let's chat, shall we? Let's chat about this reluctance to healthier living. I get something up on my screen. There we go. All right, big, huge old announcement right in the middle of the screen. All right, so there's actually a few scientific reasons, biochemical reasons why this is happening. So I got a question for you. You heard the topic, you know what we're going to talk about today. So let's say you started a program or just real simple, you decide, well, you're just going to make a couple of healthier choices. You're not going to get too deep into it. You're not going to make a full commitment. You're just going to one or two. That's it, right? And then a couple days go by, you're doing great. And then all of a sudden, you go right back to your old MO or your usual MO, depending on how long it's been. It's normal, you guys. It is. You're trying to overcome habits that have been instilled sometimes over an entire lifetime. And this can create a reluctance. There's a little bit more to it than that. So we're going to get into it today. And then I've got 5 things for you at the end. So stick with me because I got 5 things that are going to help you overcome this. They're going to help you stop doing this to yourself. Because majority of you get out there, you work for 2 to 3 weeks, hardcore on something that improves your health. You feel so much better. And then within a week, you're back where you were because of all these other things that are happening. My hope is that this will educate you to be mindful and to understand where your triggers are and understand what's happening, even though your brain is trying to lie to you, because our brain is a little liar, likes to trick us. It's not fair, but it does. And it's really good at it. So for those of you who are new here, hi. How you doing? My name is Bonnie. I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I help women go from exhausted and struggling to thriving and surviving, not just minimally so. We're talking over the top. You've got energy. You're sleeping better. You're feeling better. You feel like you can actually deal with your life. You're no longer in pain, and you're pooping normally. Key factor in thriving in this world. All right. I want to help you live a life where you're energized, but you're free from the things that ail you, if that makes any sense. An unhealthy gut leads to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation leads to autoimmune disorder, chronic illness, all the food sensitivities in the world, body aches, headaches, all the crap. And my goal is to help you get rid of said crap and start just living life. All right, so today, let's talk about that reluctance. Get comfy, because it's going to get real. All right, obviously, this is a pain point for me. It is something that drives me crazy about myself, is when life gets rough, my brain wants to go back to where it was before I lost my weight in 2003. I lost 100 pounds, you guys. But my brain wants to take me back to that, to the person I was before that. The one that thought that eating dinner at 9:30 at night and having a few beers, maybe a shot or two, along with big old burger and French fries was healthy. No. And a bagel for breakfast wasn't any healthier. Just saying. All right, so what's happening? Why is our brain doing this thing where we know we need to be healthy, we know we want to be healthy, but we're trying to make these habit changes and it just feels like a brick wall or a mountain you just can't get over? Why is that? Let's go over this, all right? First and foremost, your taste buds start to rebel. So you've got all the taste buds on your tongue, right? Your sugar, your salt, your umami, your bitter, your sour, right? If you have paid any attention to nutrition and diet and health in the world, you know sugar puts you on a roller coaster, right? It's a carbohydrate roller coaster. You eat sugar and your carb spikes, right? And then it plummets. So now you've got spike, plummet. But when you eat it again, spike higher, plummet harder, right? The roller coaster. And it's one that is very difficult to get off. Salt is no different. Savory, no different. Sugar is basically the evil of the world right now. There's always one. I think like 5 or 6 years ago, it was avocado. I don't know why. I don't know. Avocado is not horrible for you. I mean, it's like anything else. If you overeat something, it doesn't matter how healthy the food is. If you overeat it, it's not healthy any longer. So you want variety. You want everything in moderation, including your indulgences and treats. This is how we overcome your taste buds. Your brain hates change. Your subconscious hates change. And this world is full of change. It's ever changing. It's like a constant, especially now with technology. I mean, my God, you've got TikTok, and Reels, and those are what, 5 to 8 seconds typically. Especially now, marketing's come out to say that a 7-second TikTok or Reel is much more effective than the 1.5 minutes or 3 minutes that you're allowed. I think TikTok's at 10 minutes now. I don't know. I don't have that function. I wouldn't use it anyway, at least not yet. But, our brains we're trying to get our brains used to that change, to those triggers. And our subconscious just quite simply hates change. And when your taste buds decide that it wants something, that this is going to trigger that pleasure sensor in your brain, because your brain likes pleasure. Your brain hates change, right? But if you give it something that it enjoys, then it wants more. So if you're now going, well, wait, that's kind of the definition of addiction. Yes, it very much is. And it's part of our pleasure center. For some of us, it tries to take over more and can really overwhelm something. That's how addiction is created, whether it's from food, drugs, habits. It's the pleasure center is where it all comes from. Now, on top of our brain, on a completely external platform, you've got the food industry, who has over time actually used scientists and chemists to make sure that their food tastes delicious, that it's consistently delicious, so that our pleasure sensor is triggered for us to want more of said food. See the cycle? Pleasure center is triggered. Now it's out of your system. Now you want more. Pleasure center is craving until you have it more. And it's like the sugar roller coaster. It just gets more and more intense, because once you meet that pleasure in your subconscious, then now you've set that bar. And the only way to receive that pleasure trigger again is to increase it. You feel where I'm going here? So when you're learning about the science of addiction, diet and healthy lifestyles are no different. We need to understand how our brains work, the things that we have been given, the triggers in our world, external and internal, so that when we want to make changes, when we want to improve our lives and our health, whether it is because of a medical reason or just simply because our genes don't fit, understanding the way that our brain is working allows us to consciously make decisions, make choices, so that subconsciously those start seeping in, and then over time will become natural. I'm always talking about how eating healthy and healthy lifestyle is easy. Yes, getting there is a journey. Some of us take longer to get there. All right. The food industry does not help us out. That doesn't mean you have to eliminate it completely. It just simply means that it doesn't help us out. That's all there is to it. So you've got your taste buds rebelling. You've got your brain who hates change. You got the sugar and the salt roller coaster, sometimes the savory one. And then you've got the food that has been manufactured to taste good, to trigger said responses. Then you have the convenience factor. Our lives are busy. Every single one of us is busy. COVID shutdowns and the pandemic didn't make it any easier, because now many of you whose kids went to school on a regular basis are now homeschooled versus going to school. Even several years later, many homes have decided that the children should stay homeschooled just because they simply do better. You know, it's healthier for their mindset, it's healthier for their emotional well-being, for their physical well-being, that there's some interaction and social, stigma. But for whatever reason, individual choice in majority of homes has been to homeschool, right? And continue to do so. So now you've got convenience, you've got comfort, your life is busier than it was several years ago. And with everybody home, how do you make sure everything is healthy, cooked, prepped, especially when they're going to school and the guardians in the house and the parents in the house are all working? There's a convenience factor there. There is a comfort level there. If your brain is comfortable, it doesn't want to change. Who wants change? You get comfy, you get pulled in the couch. You really want to get up from that couch, right? Cost. It has been put out there that the cost of eating healthy is increasingly expensive. That does not mean there are not alternatives. And that's one thing I definitely wanted to chat with you about today, because if cost is a factor for you, there are a couple of things you can do. Make sure that the fruits and the vegetables that you're buying are mostly fruits and vegetables that you can regrow. You can grow so much in a windowsill. These suckers right here. Okay, so let me just tell you a little story about my little puppy plants. Okay, see this little sucker here? It's going to be a couple years, so maybe not do this, but just as an example. My sister was trying to grow lemon seeds, and like you clean them off, right? Clean the outer coating. Then you put them in a wet paper towel, put them in a Ziploc, and you tape them to the window. So I figured, well, that seems easy. I'll do it. If you follow me for any length of time, you know that I don't grow things well. I'm not a very good gardener. The whole paying attention to your plants thing. So anyway, she grows this wonderful little sprout, right? They're huge compared to this. And I go and look back and I'm like, yeah, mine are all moldy. I'm just going to toss it. And I go and look. And there's a seed that really wasn't doing anything, which is how I ended up with this little dude. Because all of a sudden I got a little sprout, right? So I have 2 little lemon seeds. I water them, I think once every 4 or 5 days. I don't know. My plant app tells me when to water them. And yes, I have a plant app that tells me what to do. These are just an example. In several years, I will have lemons. I I obsess over lemons. So this is fabulous for me. This is just one example. Romaine lettuce, butter lettuce. You know the lettuce that you buy in the container? It's got the roots underneath of it. Take it home, put the sucker in a wet paper towel, wrap it up, put it in a cup like this, so that it's got water in it, right? Something that keeps that moisture there. Put it in the fridge. You will be able to regrow those plants. Put them on the windowsill. Onions, garlic, carrots, potatoes, they all grow so quickly. I have a video out, and it's been a while, so I'd have to find it, but I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it in the show notes down below. And it's regrowing romaine. You can regrow spinach. You can regrow so much. If you just go into Google and put regrow produce, you will find a lot. So if cost is a factor, regrowing your food is a way you can get around it. Buy it once, make sure it's organic when you buy it, okay? If cost is a factor, I'm going to tell you right now, just buy what you can. A lot of times farmers markets, yes, it's a pain to get to, but a lot of times farmers markets are cheaper. They're simply cheaper. And we're supposed to eat 80% of our diet should be plant-based. That's really the healthiest way. You're going to get all your micronutrients. You're going to get all the minerals, all the everything. You get it all in one. And in doing that, it feels like it would be more expensive. Starting would be expensive. Trying to make sure everything is organic would be expensive. Another suggestion for you is the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. Okay. There's a company that puts out this list every single year, and I'll link it below. And what it is the Dirty Dozen are the foods that have the highest pesticides on them, right? Or in them. And those are the foods that you really, really want to make sure that you are eating organically. All right. Which is why I'm saying farmers markets are an excellent source, because a lot of the farmers who are local, a lot of smaller farmers, they can't afford the time or the financial commitment to receive an organic certification, despite the fact that they're growing all of their food organically. Hydroponic farms are another area of growth that you can actually save some money on the produce that you're buying. So just look around your neighborhood, see what's there. Even if you're in the city gardens are popping up left and right. It's tremendous. And communities are coming together to grow produce. If you are one of these communities, please share some insight, because this is something that will not only save you cost, but it's going to save you time, because over time, you're growing the bulk of your produce, right, from scraps, then you're not taking the time to go shop for those. The other things can be bought, but that shrinks your shopping time. And time is another factor that creates a reluctance. When it's taking too much time, and any habit when you're switching, obviously you're going to have to take time to learn a new habit, to learn things that, and the elements and the components that help you succeed and be successful in that habit. Your health and healthy improve, like gut and overall health improvement, no different. But if you can save time using these little tiny things, regrow your produce, shop at farmers markets so that you can regrow produce, it saves you a lot of time. So outside of all of that, deprivation. This is a big one. People think that just because you have a healthy lifestyle, you are going to be deprived, right? That's not necessarily the case. You have to find balance. You have to figure out which things in your life, which elements of your life, which elements of your diet are you not willing to give up, your non-negotiables, all right? Figure out if those non-negotiables, if there's a way to make them healthier or make them more of an occasional treat. If you don't eat things frequently, it actually will stop diffusing your pleasure centers when you do eat them. So your favorite foods really become your favorite foods. I mean, they just blast you with flavor. Okay. Deprivation is basically just a fear. It's a fear element. It's a fear of change. It's your brain trying to give you an excuse to not make changes because it wants to be where it's at. It wants to be comfortable. Okay. Don't let her do that. Take the conscious effort, look at your non-negotiables, look at the things that you are not getting rid of, figure out if there's a way to make them a little healthier or a lot healthier, preferably, and still include them in your life. There's going to be things that's not going to happen for, but that doesn't mean you can't occasionally indulge. All right. And the last two I'm combining together. The feeling of being overwhelmed because there's so much information coming at you. And there's so much information out there. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's false. You don't know which end is up. You don't know if this is going to work or that's going to work. And that triggers confusion, right? So you're overwhelmed, you're confused. Your brain doesn't want to make any changes. Your taste buds wants the sugar and the salt. And there's a budget reason. Let's clear the cobwebs. Before you get all wrapped up in any specific diet plan, any specific thing, take three things that you want to do. Okay. Start those three things. And over the next couple of weeks, just do those three things. After you reach that point where it feels like it's subconscious now and your brain's just automatically doing that, like lemon ginger water first thing in the morning, making sure you're hydrated, making sure you're having, 2 cups of vegetables a day. Technically, you're supposed to have 3, but if you're not eating them anyway, 2 cups is an improvement, significantly so. So do things like that. Keep it simple, keep it realistic, and keep it in a way, or keep it so that your brain doesn't feel overwhelmed on a busy day. Okay. We're trying to eliminate the overwhelm. We're trying to eliminate all of these excuses. The number one job of your fitness trainer and your health coach is to eliminate your excuses with truth, with realistic truths. All right. You can do the same exact thing. All right. So when you ignore all of this and you have a reluctance to health and you go to get healthier choice or make healthier choices, you start and then you come back and then you start and then you come back, creates that yo-yo effect. So all that pain, all that constipation, the food sensitivities, the intolerances, everything gets progressively worse. It doesn't improve. So it improves for a couple of days and then it gets worse. And then it improves and then it gets worse. You're slowly making it in a more unhealthy internal ecosystem. So you want to do things that you can actually stick with, even if they feel like they are baby steps. Like we're talking way back in the baby step process, right? Mini little centimeter steps or millimeter. There we go. Millimeter, little millipede. If you're starting there, you're starting there. You're still starting. Your goal is to achieve balanced gut health. It's to balance out the microflora and the microbiota within your gut so that the rest of your body can be healthier. Those micro millipede steps can do so much, you guys. Take the time to figure out what 3 millipede, I keep wanting to say millimeter, what 3 millipede steps you want to take over the next couple of weeks. Right now, I'm actually in the process of, I think this is day 11 for my 100 days of Heal Your Gut in 100 days. So if you're on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, or on Facebook, look at the reels, look at my TikToks. There's suggestions in there if you really need suggestions, or DM me, post a comment here. I'll answer. I've stopped answering while I'm talking just because that leads to a really convoluted discussion. But as soon as I get off, I go and I check all the comments, and I continue to monitor notifications throughout the week. So if you get a comment or a question and you're watching this on replay, pop it down below. I'll help you figure it out. I have an initial consultation as well. So we can sit there, we can map out a whole 3-6 month, year-long program for you. Even if you don't work with me, my goal is to keep you healthier or to get you healthier. So, I mean, if that's what we need to do, then let's do it. Sound good? There's a link below so you can schedule that appointment, or you can just DM me directly or post a comment. One of the three. All right. So now that you know what's triggering this reluctance, what do you do about it? I got 5 things for you. Okay. I'm going to tell you what they are, and then we're going to go through them. I want you to think outside the box. Stop thinking with what commonplace has been. Stop thinking with the brain that you have had your whole life. We're going to think outside the box. Okay, 3 things you can do consistently that are easy, that are helpful, that are realistic. That's a big one because I keep mentioning it. Eliminate all of your excuses. Figure out how to eliminate all of your excuses. Start trying foods. Don't care what they are. If you haven't had them before, if you had them many years ago and you didn't like them, try them again. The fact that you're trying variety signals abundance in your brain. And be sure to trigger your pleasure sensors every single day. All right, so let's back up just a little bit. Let's talk about this think outside the box. This is the place where you need to learn to listen to your body. Be mindful of cravings, be mindful of symptoms you're dealing with: sweating, cold, sweaty, clammy palms, the cramps, the sensitivities, the issues with elimination, the issues with your digestive system, headaches, foggy brain, blurry vision, ringing in your ears. Those are all signs that something's out of whack. So if you learn to listen to your body and you start understanding what your subconscious is telling you, then you can overcome all of this, because when you feel that mindfully and consciously, not back here in your subconscious, consciously, you are able to go, wait, that's what this means. Okay. Journal it, keep track of it. That's why we have food logs and diet logs and symptom logs, so that you can identify connections, okay, and patterns. Once you understand patterns, you understand what your body's trying to say. Now, the 3 things, we talked about that. Make them consistent, make them easy, make them helpful to you, and make them millipede steps. All right. Eliminate your excuses. So we talked about cost. Sugar. If sugar or salt are problems, so with sugar, it's quite easy. Okay. And yeah, I know you're going to look at me and go, yeah, right. Sugar is actually pretty easy to overcome. It is one of the harder addictions to overcome, but it's actually pretty easy. You want to have on hand at all times the sweetest fruits on the planet for you. Pineapple, grapes, what's another one? Mango. The tropical foods are amazing. Strawberries, blueberries, things like that. Anything that you taste and think, oh my God, that's sweet. That's what you want to have on hand. When you have a sweet craving, that's what you eat. Yes, you're going to overeat fruit at some point. It's just going to happen. But overeating the fruit is much healthier than overeating the added sugar. And over time, it helps your brain shift. So now your sugar cravings are not on a roller coaster. It's actually slowed the roller coaster down, and it's starting to create this glycemic balance. All right. If you feel deprived, a couple of things that you can do. The very first tip that I found that is especially helpful across the board is enjoying 1 ounce of dark chocolate a day. It is much more than you think. Go look it up. You will see. If you walk into the grocery store, there's chocolate bars, dairy-free chocolate bars called Humans. Half the bar is this big. Half the bar is 1 ounce. it is more than what you think. If chocolate's not your thing, take whatever is your thing and eat mini doses. And yeah, I said doses, mini doses every single day. Don't indulge, mini doses. Okay. If you have to, freeze it, pull out mini doses to defrost each day. And make sure that whatever you are eating tastes good. Don't eat cardboard. We don't need to eat cardboard anymore. Don't eat cardboard. No, 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 no. That's kind of where the trying new foods comes into play. Is when you're trying new foods, your taste buds are thrown for a loop. It's kind of like throwing a whole bunch of marbles in the air and then now you have to reorganize them, or playing 52 pickup, right? Now, with your pleasure sensors, that's a little bit different. Yeah, you can get it with food, but you can also get it through activity. So a 15-minute walk, 30-second dance party, anything that you do from that's kind of intense for about 3 to 5 minutes, exercises, they release endorphins. Those endorphins also help to spark the release and the increase of dopamine production as well as serotonin, which are our happy hormones. They make us happy. They make us feel happy. So if you can trigger those, happy equals healthy to our brains. Trigger the happy hormones, your brain craves healthy foods. It's a natural instinct that all humans have. Might be buried way, way, way down deep, but it is a natural instinct that we all have. So trigger your pleasures, start craving healthier foods. And the more often you do that, the greater that becomes, the more intense those cravings come. So the last thing I want to leave you with is this statement. The happier you are, the more satisfied and fulfilled your brain feels. That releases the desire to stick with healthier choices versus the desire to ditch them and go back to what's comfortable. So the more frequently you do this, the more consistent you are, it makes a difference. So what's your time frame? I like to know time frames. So here you go. You ready? 3 days to shake up your brain. 7 to 10 is where healing kind of starts to happen. Your brain's kind of wavering a little bit. 14 to 21 days. Your brain's not completely sold, but it's acting like it is. You hit 90 days and now it's sold, but you got to get through all the activities and the holidays and the things that happen in your world. So it usually takes about a year to cement everything. Now, that does not mean that there aren't going to be situations and elements and things coming into our lives that can trigger us to go back. They're still there. They don't ever really go away. Having a strategy in place long before that happens, where you know, okay, if something happens, I'm going to give myself 3 days, or I'm going to give myself 3 weeks. You know, life hits me in the gut to this intensity level. I'm going to give myself 3 weeks. I'll get back in check, right? Even halfway, have a strategy in place, right? And then from there, you can rebound really well and you can stick with this. And that reluctance to live a healthier lifestyle, the reluctance to make those healthier choices in your diet, they basically dissipate to the point that over time and consistency are gone. Like if you practice this for 5 to 10 years, they're gone. They're gone. It's much easier to go back to something that has been cemented. Now, if you're listening to me and you're almost 50, right? And you've had these choices up until this time, and now you're trying to be healthier, you're overcoming a lot. Give yourself some kudos, first of all. But remember, you're overcoming a lot. So you want to make sure that anything that you choose moving forward helps your conscious brain talk to your subconscious brain, right? You're consciously retraining, reprogramming your subconscious. Don't forget that. When you get frustrating moments, when you have a day where you feel like you let it all loose and, oh my God, I might as well give up now. Your conscious brain is working with your subconscious brain. Okay. conscious brain, reprogramming your subconscious. That takes time. All right, so that's everything I have for you today. I am hoping that you guys got a lot out of this. I would love to hear what you did get out of it. If any of this helped, if there was any components of it that really stuck out in your brain, let me know. And on top of that, let me just reiterate those 5 things that you should do when you feel like your subconscious is trying to stop you from making healthier choices. Ready? Think outside the box. You can redo this anytime you want. Think outside the box. Pick 3 things that you can consistently do that are easy, that are smart, and that are realistic, and that are helpful. Eliminate all your excuses, whatever they come up to be, eliminate them. There's always an action, reaction, a trigger, a response, good and bad. Try all the new foods. Try all of them. Try the old foods that you used to hate. Try the foods that you hated last week. I don't care. Try new foods. Throw some wonky ones in there just for shits and giggles. And trigger your pleasure sensors every day. All right, guys, breathe. Go enjoy your day. Enjoy your week. Trigger those pleasure sensors. I promise that one thing will make your life so much happier. I promise. All right. Cheers. I'll chat with y'all next week. Bye, guys.